You can see here that we're now at a rating of 35, whereas just a couple of weeks ago that was at 4. Hello everyone. I hope you had a great week wherever you are in the world, and I hope that you followed those trade setups that I shared with you in last week's video analysis, a few simple trades just for you, because we had really good profit last week. The market sentiment has changed. All right, if you're a regular trader, you would have noticed that. Things seem to have eased up a little bit with the stock market. There's been a change in direction with gold. Why is that? Well, if you look at the Fear and Greed Index, you can see here that we're now at a rating of 35, whereas just a couple of weeks ago that was at 4. There was a tremendous amount of fear in the markets just a couple of weeks ago, but that has lightened up, and there's a little bit less fear in the markets now. There's still a lot of uncertainty. However, with less fear in the markets, people are, investors, hedge fund managers, less likely to go so strongly for the safe haven of gold. And in fact, taking profits that they have and perhaps investing that back into the stock market or into Bitcoin, which has seen a great move in the last week, which I'll share with you in this video. But things have changed in the last week or so, but we can still make profit. We just trust our strategy, we follow the strategy, and most importantly, we protect our capital. Don't be greedy, okay? Don't overtrade, don't overlot, don't chase the candles, all right? And you can be successful as a forex trader. So let's go ahead and jump into our charts and see what's coming up for this weekly analysis starting on the 28th of April. All right, we will, of course, look at the high impact news that's coming out. We do have some important news items released this week. And then I will share my trade setups that I had last week and share the profit with you that we had on those trades. And then, of course, we will look at the pending orders that I have in place already for this upcoming week to share with you some simple trades that if you'll just place them on your chart, monitor your chart, you can make profit this week with gold and with the major forex pairs. And here we are at our go-to website for finding out what is the high impact news coming out this week. This is forexfactory.com. And I won't go through all of these items. Just to remind you that because this is the end of April and the start of May, it will be the first Friday of the month. So on this upcoming Friday, we will have the non-farm employment change, the most watched high-impact news items for forex traders. So just be sure and check forexfactory.com for your local times. And now let's dive in and look at the charts. Looking at the trade setups that I shared with you last week, and first off, starting with gold, XAU, USD, and I had a buy limit on that one at 3,300. You can see the yellow line there. And this is where it closed on the previous Friday. And then on Monday, we actually had a gap up in gold. And then it went to it went to the moon, all right, and went up and touched 3,500. And it was just amazing. Biggest move I've ever seen in gold. I've been watching gold for many years. And then sort of midday, we started to see a pullback. Everybody thought it was a pullback, and it turned out to be a massive change in direction. And over the next 2 days, gold dropped more than $250. And then on Thursday and Friday, mostly going sideways. So quite difficult to trade. Monday would have been good if you saw that momentum, and you could be taking buy trades up until Tuesday when it started to turn around. And hopefully you had either a trailing stop loss or you decided to take profit, and you would have been very profitable early in the week on XAU USD. On the USD JPY, I had a sell limit, but if you'll remember, I did say also it's good to take a market execution order on the USD JPY when the Asian Pacific market opens on Monday morning. And if you had done that, it did gap down a little bit. But if you'd taken the market execution order, this was probably the most profitable trade of the week over Monday and Tuesday before doing a flip-flop and coming back up and then going way above our original sell limit. So a very profitable trade on the USD JPY. And then with the other major pairs, starting with the Euro US, this one gapped up on Monday morning when the Asian Pacific market opened up, and then just shot to the moon, going up with gold, and then doing a flip-flop the next day and coming back pretty much to where it started out the week. So our buy limit did actually execute on Wednesday, and then went a little bit the wrong direction, but did come up. So it gave us a little bit of profit in the same day. Then the odd US was absolutely amazing. This one opened immediately when the market opened on Monday morning with the Asian Pacific market. I gave you a buy limit at 6370, and that dropped just below that 1 pip, and the pending order opened and it went directly into profit. So this was an excellent day trade. Very good profit on the odd US. And of course, the New Zealand US trades very similar to the odd US, and it did exactly the same thing. The trade buy limit was 5930. It came right to that and then went in the correct direction. And so that was another excellent day trade on the odd US and the New Zealand US, two good trades. Then the pound US did not open, but if you had seen that momentum with the market opening on Monday, you could have got in on that one and then rode that for a good profit on Monday for a good day trade before it flip-flopped and came back the wrong direction. And then the USD CAD, okay, I had a sell limit on that one. It did not come back to the pending order, but it did go in the correct direction until going sideways for a couple of days, then went the wrong direction, then went sideways again. So this was a really difficult trade. Surprising because after we've had this great bearish move a couple of weeks ago, it looked as if the USD CAD was going to drop to even lower prices. But we've seen a lot of more sideways movement last week. So not a profitable trade. You could have got a little bit out of this when it did come up on Wednesday and hit the sell limit, then did go into profit, okay, for a little bit. But it just depends if you're placing your pending orders on Monday when the market opens, and then watching them carefully during the week, because most of these will turn out to be profitable for a day, perhaps two. But it's prudent if you set trade alerts on whatever platform it is you're using so that you don't have to watch the charts all the time. But generally, these trades, once they open, they are good for at least a day, perhaps two, and some of them turning into be very good profit. This would have been a good trade if you had kept your market pending order open, and then on Tuesday it did open and then went good into profit before turning around and going the wrong direction. So now let's look at the pending orders that I have for you in place, okay, and starting off with gold. But as you remember, if you follow me, before we look at the pending orders, I do like to look at the DXY, which is the dollar index. That's the US dollar compared with 6 major currencies. Made a bit of a recovery during early in the week, and then went sideways on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I'm expecting to see some more decline in the dollar. We've been seeing it declining all year long, and there's no reason that we can expect that the dollar is suddenly going to start strengthening, because we have the same geopolitical situation, we have the same global economic situations that we've had all year long. And so I do expect to see a continuing decline of the US dollar. And then the JPY basket for an unusually strong move downwards. Okay, we've been seeing strengthening of the Japanese yen, but I believe we've reached a point here, a support level, a support zone, where we'll start to see a turnaround of the Japanese yen. Some strengthening of the Japanese yen should be coming up. All right, let's look at the trade setups that I have for you, the pending orders for this upcoming week, starting on the 28th of April. And this is XAU USD with a sell limit, okay, a sell limit. We can see that we're obviously now in a downtrend. How far down this is going to go, we don't know. It could be temporary, it could be longer term, but at least for the moment, we have to trust our strategy. The trend is our friend, and we have a bearish trend at the moment. So I have a sell limit at 33.20, and that's just about where it closed. It closed at 33.19. So actually, in effect, you could, when the market opens, take a market execution order, sell the XAU USD. And this has been moving downward all since about the middle of last week. And usually the Asian Pacific market, when it opens on Monday morning, will continue the same direction. So we could see that go down to our next support level, which is 32.33, in that zone, 32.33, 32.35, 32.40, around about that zone. So that would be a good profit if you take a sell order on XAU USD. Then the UJ, okay, I have a sell order, market execution All right, we are at a support resistance zone here where we were a couple of weeks ago, and it did, yes, made a good recovery back up, but this is just a retracement, a pullback, and we will see continuing lower prices on the USD JPY. So market execution, when you wake up Monday morning, sell the USD JPY. Then the Euro US, a buy limit. All right, as the European economy continues to get stronger, let's stay bullish on the Euro US. I have a buy limit at 1.1335. That's just a little bit above this support level that we have here, 1.1335. Then the odd US, also a buy limit with the entry price at 0.6390. And the New Zealand US, a buy limit with the price at 0.5955. And the pound US, a buy limit. Let that one retrace just a little bit back to our pending order of 1.3270 on the pound US. And then the USD CAD, a sell limit. Okay, with the entry price at 1.3895. It's a little bit below that, and let it pull back to our retracement level here at 1.3895. Sell limit on the USD CAD. And then before signing off, of course, it's always good to look at Bitcoin. Hey, Bitcoin, all you Bitcoin hodlers out there, this is doing great. A much better chart to look at now. We were so stuck around 85,000 there for a while, and then even before that, we were around about 74,000. And for 2 weeks, it was around 85,000. But we've been on an uptrend here for a while, and finally, it's breaking above that psychological level of 85,000. We even broke above 90,000, and in fact broke above 95,000 just yesterday. All right, it's fallen a little bit down below that now at 94,000, but it's really good to see this above 90,000, and I expect that we will stay above 90,000. Of course, we don't know that for sure. Nobody can predict the future. You certainly can't predict the markets. But for you Bitcoin hodlers, I know you're happy to see this kind of a chart. All right, we're definitely turning bullish again on Bitcoin, and it looks like we're expecting to see even higher prices. So the next level we would like to see would be, of course, 100,000 again. Okay, that's a wrap for this week, guys. I hope that these trade setups that I share with you will help you to be profitable with your Forex trading. If they are, let me know in the comments below. Even if they're not, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to hear me comment or give an analysis on some other pairs, just mention that in the comments, and I'll be glad to do that in next week's video. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Click the little bell so you'll be notified every time I make one of these videos. And of course, don't forget to like, love, and share on all the social media. I really appreciate it. I'll see you again next week.